Over 3 lakh cybersecurity incidents, Megha, have been reported in India till October 2019. That is a 55% jump from the 2018 statistics. And with growing cybersecurity incidents and concerns, the startup space has seen burgeoning of cybersecurity companies who are working closely with government and enforcement agencies. Now, a recent incident in Inefu Labs helped Delhi police locate 3,000 missing children within 4 days of deployment using its artificial intelligence and cybersecurity solutions. My colleague Sunny Sen speaks to Tarun Vig, co-founder of Inefu Labs, to find out more.
You have been working with government agencies very closely, and you help them using your cybersecurity solutions, which are a lot of them are artificially intelligent solutions. You use them to help them nab criminals and terrorists. How do you do that?
See, as an organization, we only assist the law enforcement agencies. You know, what is happening in the world today is the lines between offline and online crimes are blurring. You know, every criminal that you come across, any cyber crime that you see, will leave certain footprints. The challenge is that in the entire web, you know, it's very difficult to identify those footprints. It's very difficult to identify those patterns. What we do is our solution, by the way, our solution was actually named as, we were named a product company of the year last year for our solution. So our solution, what it does is, it is taking data from multiple sensors, right, correlating everything together and trying to find patterns which are not visible to the human eye. That's how we are assisting law enforcement agencies across the country and, you know, certain organizations to identify actually identify the crime patterns which are happening and to identify the people, key influencers who are driving those patterns.
Right. So at the Howdy Modi event, there were people who were trying to flood the internet with hate speeches, right? You helped them. You helped in containing that. Perhaps
not containing that, but we were able to identify that most of the chatter was originating from Pakistan. From hostile nations. Even if the current trend that you look in CAA, we are releasing a report tomorrow itself, and we realized that around 1,500 handles have been created in Pakistan in the last 15 days, and all of them are promoting anti-CAA sentiments, right? So we were able to identify that.
So while the CAA is an Indian issue, you see a lot of the chatter being promoted by Pakistan.
Very true. A lot of it.
Okay.
Hashtags like End India and so on are being promoted from across the border.
Okay, what are the hashtags? The one is End India.
End India is another, Modi Nazism is another. So these are certain hashtags that they are promoting. You'll read all about it in the report that we release tomorrow.
Great, that will be amazing. So Tarun, help me understand, how does this happen? So once you have identified that there are certain people or there are certain organizations or certain countries who are trying to promote negative or hate speeches, how do you help the Indian agencies or the government, Indian government, contain these kind of chatter?
See, you know, that's just a part of what we do. As I was saying, when we talk about cybercrime, this is just one part of cybercrime when you're trying to promote radicalization. The idea is to identify, cyber criminals on the ground, people who are carrying out bank frauds, people who are carrying out online theft, people who are, doing transactions in Bitcoin, which right now is illegal, people who are logging onto dark web to buy arms and ammunitions, to buy weapons.
Drugs.
And
even promote prostitution.
Which is going to become one of the biggest problems in our country. The narcos is going to become probably one of the biggest problems in the country in the next 5 years. So what we do as an organization, as I mentioned earlier, we take data from multiple sensors. Now, taking data from online social media forums is just one part of it. We take data from multiple sensors across the globe. All that data, and we're talking about petabytes of data, is correlated, is automatically analyzed by the machine, and patterns thrown up for a user to manually validate. So at the end of the day, it is a law enforcement agency officer who has to manually validate that what the artificial intelligence has thrown up is correct or not.
Right.
So human plays a part there. But we are only assisting them in identifying those patterns, which they possibly may not be able to do in such a huge wealth of information.
Right. So you started with saying that the offline and the online world is blurring. So while perhaps the connections are being made or perhaps the money is being transferred online, but the real crime is happening
on the ground.
On the ground. And how do you identify that there is a certain crime that might happen, especially in the case of the where you work closely with the Delhi police in locating 3,000 children, missing children? How do you figure out that? Where are these children? Who are the people behind that? And how do you do that?
So that was one of our biggest achievements which we feel up to date. I mean, we have had a lot of achievements, but this is something which we are really proud of now. See, in this particular scenario, you have a database online for missing children across the country, the database of National Missing Children. Now that database is available. Today, what can happen in Delhi, if I am a normal cop on the street, if I see a kid who's crying on the street and who seems to be left alone, or somebody who's working in a shop and everything, I can just click a picture of that person. And the system will automatically identify that against the database of missing children to identify if this kid has been reported. I can go to an orphanage, click pictures of kids, identify if they have been reported missing or not, and if yes, the police department is able to reunite them.
Right.
So that's as I said, facial biometric is the technology which has come up in vogue in the past couple of years. It has really picked up steam in the last few years, facial biometric, and that is a part of our solution.
And a lot of companies are using the facial technologies, or facial vision technologies and facial technologies to look sexy and appealing to their consumers. But at the other side of it is that there is a huge risk of people misusing that.
Every technology brings its own set of downfalls. Every technology has its upkeeps and downkeeps. Now it depends upon how you use it.
My last question to you is, it's January and we're just starting the year 2020. What are have you identified any threats which, or any instances, have you come across any instances which are very new and which might become really big and people should be concerned about in the coming year?
So online drug smuggling is dark web, specifically on dark web. Narcotic trade on the dark web, in specific parts of the country has picked up steam massively. Right. In the coming year, we would see multiple instances where you will see people from different nations, maybe across the border, trying to influence or radicalize youth within the country. That is another problem statement that we see, where the online social media forums would be used to carry out this radicalization process. So these are two threats that I see, definitely see increasing in the coming year.